Game 2 of the 2024 GNAC Baseball Championships underway as number 1 seed Northwest Nazarene takes on the number 3 seed Central Washington. Thanks for sticking with us this afternoon, folks. Welcome into Joe Pertz Field here in Billings, Montana. One game in the books, Western Oregon, with a 9-5 win over Central Washington. So the Wildcats, with their back against the wall, have to get a win over the regular season champ, Northwest Nazarene Nighthawks. It's Brian Rojas on the hill to get things going for Northwest Nazarene as NNU gets their first ball game of the weekend in. Rojas facing Marcus Manzanardo to start things out, and Manzanardo into a full count. Starting lineup for Central Washington here for their second game of the day. Manzanardo playing second base and leading off. Baba Varner is in right. Austin Olin catches. Ben Lead will clean up and play left. As a 3-2 in, Manzanardo will take it for ball number 4, and it is a leadoff walk for the Wildcats. Finishing off the lineup for Central Washington, Andrew Sharp sitting in the 5 spot. He's playing first base. Ryan McCarthy will DH. Jake Felton's in center. Brady Hinkle's at third base, and Jake Madsen is the shortstop. Here's Baba Varner stepping to the plate. Tries to lay down a bunt, pops it up in foul territory down the third baseline. Diving for it is the catcher, Drew Deal. He is not able to make the catch. It'll just fall in for a harmless foul ball for strike number 1 on Varner. It's Daniel Sharon that's going to be starting on the mound for Central Washington here in their second game. On the other side for NNU, again, that's Brian Rojas getting the start. He's 3-0 with a 2.92 ERA this season. Rojas working from the stretch with Manzanardo at first after the leadoff walk. 0-1 pitch. Tipped foul off the bat of Varner. Moves him into an 0-2 count. This season, Rojas has made just 6 previous appearances, 5 starts, so has not had a ton of experience for Northwest Nazarene. Here's a kick and the 0-2. That one bounces in front of home plate for ball number 1 to Baba Varner. The defense that'll be backing Rojas up, his catcher, Drew Deal. Liam Herrera's playing first, Gavin Brubaker at second. It'll be Cole Calnan at short. Duke Pahuko will be the third baseman. Adam Paganelli in left, Carter Walsh in center, and Trevor Tischenkel in right field. Couple pickoff moves over to first base unsuccessful as Marcus Manzanardo able to get back in there safely. 1-2 on the way. Breaking ball lined into center field. Coming in on it is Carter Walsh. He's not going to be able to get there. That falls in for a base hit. So back-to-back reaches here for Central Washington to start this game. Just as they did in their 9-5 loss to Western Oregon, starting off with a productive first inning. In that 12-5 first pitch ball game we had earlier today, Baba Varner, Austin Olin each had solo home runs. See Varner with a single here, and now Olin at the plate. He's got 2 on and nobody out. Varner at first, Manzanardo at second base. Now, with Western Oregon beating Central Washington in the first game of the GNAC Championships, Western Oregon has guaranteed that they're going to be playing tomorrow. Now, Central Washington has to win this game or their weekend will be done. And it'll just come down to NNU and Western Oregon facing off to decide who is going to have the advantage going into Saturday and who will have to win 2 games. 1-1 count now for Austin Oland. Offering on the way. A little check swing, but he holds back. Misses inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Umpiring crew for this game, it's Brad McGee behind the plate. Mark Heavy's at first. Ken Diber at second. And Kevin Rice is the umpire at third. 2-1. Misses low. knocking off of home plate again. 3-1 the count for Olin, the catcher. So this end of season troubles that Central Washington has been having continue, as they're now 2-8 over their last 10 games with that loss. They had a 5-4 lead over Western Oregon going into the bottom of the 7th inning, but then the Wolves put up a 5 spot in the bottom of 7 and ended up winning that thing 9-5. Full count on Olin. Here's a payoff pitch, and that's going to miss high. So for Brian Rojas, he has walked 2 of the first 3 batters he has seen, given up a single as well, and the Wildcats will have the bases loaded with nobody out in the top of the 1st inning. And a huge opportunity for GNAC Player of the Year, Ben Lead, who steps to the dish. Lead in the first game of the GNAC Championships. 1 hit, actually make it 2 hits in a 2-for-4 performance. Also had a base on balls in there. Time is going to be asked for by home plate umpire Brad McGee, and he's actually going to go out and have a word with Brian Rojas. Perhaps something in his delivery that he wants him to be watching or giving him a warning before calling a balk. Not sure exactly what this conversation is. But we get back to it in a 1-0 count for Ben Lead. He's got the bases loaded. Oland at first, Varner at second, Manzanardo at third base. No score here in the top of 1, but nobody out, and 3 men aboard for the Wildcats. 1-0 pitch is a breaking ball for a called strike. Here's the 1-1 from Rojas. Another breaking ball. Chopper back to the mound. Rojas has it. He goes home for 1. The throw to first from Deal going to be in time. It's a 1-2-3 double play, and there is a huge break for the Northwest Nazarene defense as they go from bases loaded and nobody out to 2 outs and runners at second and third with that double play. So a big break there as Rojas, Deal, and Herrera are able to roll that one up. Andrew Sharp will now come up with 2 outs and 2 on. He swings through his first pitch for strike number 1. Andrew Sharp, first baseman, appeared in both of these games so far in the GNACs. Pitch misses low, 1-1. He was 1 for 4, hit by a pitch in that loss to the Wolves. So Western Oregon gets the break here for game number 2. They're back at 7 p.m. to face NNU. 1-1 pitch, fouled back by Sharp, and the count moves 1-2. Brian Rojas, a pitch away from getting out of a dangerous top of the 1st inning. Just moments ago, the bases were loaded with nobody out, and then a 1-2-3 double play. And now a 1-2 count has Rojas on the cusp of keeping this a scoreless frame. 1-2 fastball misses up and in, almost catches the shoulder of Sharp, and the count 2-2. We do plan on bringing you video coverage of the GNAC Championships tomorrow. We appreciate your patience, as did have to relocate to Pertz Field today instead of the intended dealer park. So that's why we are on an audio-only feed here today. But thanks for sticking with us regardless. 2 outs, 2 on, and a 2-2 count. Rojas deals, misses high and outside. Now the count full for Andrew Sharp. Northwest Nazarene in search of their 3rd GNAC championship title. 1-1 back in 2016, then again in 2021 to become just the 2nd team to win multiple. 3-2 pitch, tipped back into the glove by Sharp. And there's a big strikeout by Rojas to finish off a tough top of the 1st inning. Central Washington had the bases loaded, nobody out, and they can't do anything with it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on. No score. We head to the bottom of the 1st. Northwest Nazarene gets their first chance with Walsh, Brubaker, and Calnan due up. No score, 0-0 as we go to the bottom of the first inning. Northwest Nazarene and Central Washington facing off here in the Great Northwest Athletic Conference Baseball Championships. Quite the spot that NNU was in the top of the first. Bases are loaded and nobody out. Central Washington, huge opportunity to score, but then a double play and a strikeout get the Nighthawks out of the inning without surrendering a run. First pitch for Carter Walsh is flown foul down the left field line for strike number one. As NNU gets its first chance at the plate, they're going to be facing off against right-hander Daniel Sharon. 5-4 record and a 4.08 earned run average this season in 11 previous appearances for Sharon, including 10 starts. His 0-1 for Walsh, fouled off again to make it no balls and 2 strikes. Lineup at the dish in this game for Northwest Nazarene. Walsh leads it off. He plays center. Gavin Brubaker's at second base. Cole Calnan is the shortstop. Trevor Tishenkel is in right field. Adam Paganelli's in left. Duke Pahukoa hits 6. He plays third base. Brian Rojas will try and help out his own cause by pitching and hitting in the 7th spot. Liam Herrera plays first, and finishing off the order in the 9-hole, Drew Deal, the catcher. Sharon now in a 1-2 count with Walsh, as he'll kick and offer a 1-2. The Walsh flies to left field. Moving back on it is Lead. He is at the wall, and it's a leadoff home run for Carter Walsh. The center fielder immediately puts Northwest Nazarene on top. Nighthawks up 1-0 here in the bottom 1. That's the 3rd home run of the season for Walsh, as NNU gets off to a quick start.
Second baseman number 5, Gavin Brubaker.
So in each of these first 2 games, we have seen home runs in the first inning, as the theatrics do not take long to get underway. Here's Gavin Brubaker looking to continue on the hot start. First pitch, he chops it out to second. Waiting back on it, Manzanardo. Throw to first in time as Brubaker is retired on 1 pitch. Defensively for Central Washington, Daniel Sharon backed up by his catcher, Austin Olin. Andrew Sharp is at first. Marcus Manzanardo at second. Jake Madsen's the shortstop. Brady Hinkle is at third base. Ben Lead in left, Jake Felton in center, Baba Varner out in right field. Sharon offering down the chute for called strike number 1 on Cole Calnan. Calnan swings on the 0-1, flies down the right field line. Varner chasing it into the corner. He'll have room. A few steps in front of the warning track, he is able to make the catch. So a long out of Calnan as he's retired for out number 2. That's going to bring up Trevor Tischenkel, who's had quite a season this year for Northwest Nazarene. First team all-conference selection. The senior hitting .339 on the season, good for 6th best in the GNAC in batting average. Also 3rd in the conference with 9 home runs, 2nd with 16 doubles, 3rd in RBIs and slugging percentage with 42 and a .612 mark, respectively, for those 2 categories. First pitch on the way for Tischenkel. Swing and a miss for strike number 1.
Number 12, Trevor Tischenkel.
Right fielder, the 4th batter of the inning for Northwest Nazarene. Carter Walsh led off the frame with a solo home run to left. We have seen a ton of home runs so far. And we're just a game and an inning and a half into this tournament. Well, into the bottom of the 2nd inning we go. Thanks for sticking with us through some technical difficulties. We appreciate your patience as well. With moving stadiums here at the last second, we have to put together a brand new broadcast, and not always the smoothest process. But we are in the bottom of the 2nd inning, 1-0 Northwest Nazarene leading Central Washington. It was a leadoff single from Adam Paganelli. He now stands on first, nobody out, and a 1-2 count on Duke Paukoa. He faces Daniel Sharon in his 2nd inning of work in the start. Pickoff move over to first, not going to be in time as Paganelli gets back into the bag safely. And it's going to be a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Paukoa. The 3rd baseman getting his first at-bat of these GNAC championships. Been a part of this NNU club for a couple years. Is 2-2 breaking ball, swing and a miss. Taking off on the pitch is Paganelli, who will steal second base successfully, but Pahuko will go down on strikes. First strikeout for Sharon, and it'll be the first out of the inning, bringing up Brian Rojas. So Rojas, the pitcher,
Number 34,
trying to
Brian
take care of
Rojas.
business at the plate as well. He's got a .310 batting average in 16 appearances on the offensive side of things for Northwest Nazarene. 2 doubles and a triple on the season. Doesn't have a home run. First pitch will miss low and away for ball number 1. Rojas, so far 2 shutout innings of work, 1 hit, and 2 strikeouts in that time. Left-handed hitting pitcher awaiting the 1-0 from Sharon on the way. And that is going to miss outside for a ball. 2-0. Paganelli taking his lead off of second base. He led off this inning with a single. Was able to swipe second on the strikeout of Pahukoa. 2-0, swing and a miss by Rojas. 2 balls, 1 strike now. Lone run we have seen in this game. It was a solo home run from Carter Walsh to lead off the bottom of the 1st inning. For Walsh, his 3rd home run of the season. Here's a 2-1. Fastball misses outside. 3-1 now on Rojas. For Northwest Nazarene, not winning the GNAC championship would not necessarily mean the end of their season, but it's going to be a very, very tight needle to thread as the 3-1 for Rojas, flown into center field. Moving back on it is Felton on the warning track, able to make the catch. Tagging from second is Paganelli. He will advance to third on a deep fly out to center by Rojas. Really got a piece of that one, but hit it to the deepest part of the ballpark and just left it shy of the 403-foot sign in center field. So 2 away. That brings up Liam Herrera, the first baseman.
Number 26, Liam Herrera.
Northwest Nazarene ranked as high as 10th nationally in the NCBWA polls earlier this season, and actually just got bumped from the top 25 this week. They were 24th last week, now just receiving votes in the latest poll that came out 2 days ago. First pitch breaking ball for Herrera in there for a strike. But despite getting knocked out of the top 25, still ranked 5th in the West region, and the top 6 teams in the West will move on to the pair of 3-team regionals that begin the NCAA tournament. 0-1. That's going to miss low for a ball on Liam Herrera to even the count at 1-1. And there is a ton of postseason experience on this Nighthawks roster. Several of these players that we will talk about today, part of that 2021 team that made it all the way to the D2 World Series out in Cary, North Carolina. 1-1. Herrera chops it off his front foot. 1-2. So that 2021 trip to the D2 World Series, not only big opportunity at the World Series there, but it was the first time that the Nighthawks had been to the West Regionals. And then they did it in back-to-back seasons. 1-2 breaking ball, put on the ground to short, over the glove of Madsen and into left field. It's going to be an RBI base hit for Liam Herrera as Adam Paganelli gets into the score. And it is now 2-0 Northwest Nazarene as they get a 2-out knock to bring in Paganelli, who led off this inning with a base hit.
Catcher number 2, Drew Deal.
Very tough bounce out at short there for Jake Madsen. Just could not handle it as it was on an absolute line. So Herrera puts it into left, allowing Paganelli to score. That'll bring up Drew Deal, last batter for the Nighthawks that hasn't come up. His first pitch flared down the third base line and just called foul as it bounces over the top of the third baseman, Brady Hinkle. Deal will come back to the plate, awaiting his 0-1 offering. Drew Deal, 300 hitter. He's got bopped into the 9th spot as the catcher. His 0-1 will miss, evening the count at 1-1. NNU have not hit for the best average this season, but they've really taken advantage of their plate appearances as the 1-1 in for a called strike, 1-2 on Deal. They're first in the league in on-base percentage while just being third in the conference in batting average. 290 batting average, but a 370 on base. That's because they walk more than any other team in the GNAC. 2 outs, runner to first base, 2-0 Nighthawks, 1-2 pitch. Foul tip back into the glove. That'll be the second strikeout for Sharon in the inning, and it'll end the bottom of the second. 1 run scores on the power of 2 hits, 1 left on. Northwest Nazarene expands on their lead. It's now 2-0 Nighthawks as we head to the third here on GNAC TV.
Jake Madsen.
2-0 Northwest Nazarene leading Central Washington. We are into the top of the third inning. The scoring so far for the Nighthawks: solo home run for Carter Walsh in the first, then a leadoff single for Adam Paganelli. Comes in to score after he steals second, and then is brought in by Liam Herrera 3 batters later. Brian Rojas now with a little bit of breathing room as he settled in nicely, retiring each of the last 5 batters he has faced after allowing the first 3 Central Washington batters aboard. He's dealing with the 9-1-2 hitters in the order here in the top of the third. That begins with Jake Madsen, who puts a 1-1 on the ground back to the pitcher. Nice grab by Rojas to snatch that one out of thin air. Tosses over to first, and we have 1 away here in the top of 3. Make it 6 in a row, retired by Rojas. Back to the top of the order with Marcus Manzanardo, who walked in the first and got thrown out at the plate on a double play later in the inning. First pitch in for him is slung into left field for a single, so 1 out base hit for the second baseman.
Right fielder, number 10, Baba Varner Jr.
That's going to bring up Baba Varner, right fielder, 1 for 1 with the only base hit so far in this game for Central Washington. This is a Central Washington roster that has been so offensively stout this season. Swing and a miss by Varner on the first pitch. They have 5 of the top 7 hitters in the GNAC, including the top batting average in the conference belonging to Ben Lead, who came into today with a 422 mark. 0-1 will miss Hideaway, making it 1-1. Manzardo at first base has reached twice in this game now. 1 out and 1 on for Central Washington as they try and get something going. Wildcats have not fared particularly well against Northwest Nazarene this year, trying to turn that around as they're just 2-6 against the Nighthawks on the year. Hard grounder to second on the 1-1. Manzardo is thrown out at second. They loop it back over to first in time for a 4-6-3 double play. Brubaker, Calnan, and Herrera roll it up so that Brian Rojas faces the minimum here in the second inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, nobody left aboard. 1 out single for Manzardo just turns into a 4-6-3 double play, and we're headed to the bottom of the third inning. 2-0 Northwest Nazarene maintaining their lead over Central Washington here on GNAC TV.
Carter Walsh.
Bottom of the third inning here in the 2024 GNAC Baseball Championships. 2-0 Northwest Nazarene leading Central Washington as the Nighthawks have the top of the order coming to the plate in the inning. That begins with Carter Walsh, who had a solo home run to lead off this game offensively for NNU. Walsh, just one of 2 hits so far recorded by Northwest Nazarene. 1-0. Pulls it foul down the third baseline, even his count at 1-1. He's facing Daniel Sharon, who's back for his third inning of work. Sharon has surrendered a run in each of his 2 first innings on the bump. That on the power of just 2 hits. He struck out 2, yet to walk a man. It'll be Walsh, Brubaker, and Kalman here in the third for the Nighthawks. 1-1. Low and outside. 2 balls and a strike on the Nighthawks center fielder. Taking the 1-1 offering. Breaking ball will run just a bit high. So 3-ball, 1-strike count on Carter Walsh. Sharon in danger of walking his first man of the afternoon. 3-1 offering. Walsh chases one high, fouls it off on the left side. His count's now full. Sharon, a kick and the 3-2. Runs high, that one up above the head of Walsh. He's able to lay off, and it'll be a leadoff walk for Carter Walsh. First walk issued by Sharon in the game. So for each of the first 3 innings that Northwest Nazarene has come to the plate, they have had their leadoff man on. In the first, it was Walsh with the homer. In the second, Paganelli singled to left. And now Walsh here in the third is able to walk himself aboard. Gavin Brubaker, the second baseman, puts it on a line past a diving shortstop Madsen into left field for a base hit. Walsh is going to try for third. He gets in standing up, and heading for second is Brubaker, who slides in safely. He'll be credited with a single and advancement on the throw. And that's back-to-back reaches to start the inning for Northwest Nazarene.
The shortstop, number 4, Cole Kalman.
That brings up Cole Kalman. Runners at second and third and nobody out. Real chance for the Nighthawks to bust this one open. First pitch, Kalman, liner into right center, another base hit. This is going to score a couple. Walsh easily walks in. Brubaker in as well, heading for second. It's a 2 RBI double for Kalman. And it's all of a sudden 4-0 Nighthawks here in the third. Top of this order, really getting it done. Their second trip through for Northwest Nazarene. Walsh walks to start the inning. Brubaker singles to left, and Kalman a 2 RBI double. Makes this a 4-0 ball game. Still nobody out here in the bottom of 3. Trevor Tishankle now the batter. First pitch, breaking ball, low and inside, 1-0. Tishankle flew out to left to end the first inning. Sharon trying to find his way out of, has been a tough third inning. 1-0, high fly ball, right field, no doubt about it. Tishankle took a good look at that one because as soon as it left the bat, he knew it was gone. A 2-run home run for the NNU right fielder, and he has now made it a 6-0 Nighthawks lead. For Tishankle, that is home run number 10 on the season. He came into the ball game tied for third in the GNAC in homers. That'll certainly help his cause. 4 runs have now crossed the plate here in the bottom of 3. 6-0 the NNU lead. The batter is Adam Paganelli, who is 1 for 1 with a single, a run scored, and a stolen base. NNU out to a very sizable lead here early, and the Wildcats are going to have a lot of work to do going forward. Breaking ball misses away. 1-1 is the count. So far in this inning, we've seen a walk from Walsh, a single from Brubaker, double for Kalman, and then the 2-run homer of Trevor Tishinkle just a moment ago. 1-1 pitch for Paganelli, flown down the right field line. Varner, ranging to his left, is able to make the catch, and there is the first out of the inning. Takes 5 batters for the Wildcats to get one down, and we've got one away, bases empty for Duke Paukoa.
The third baseman, number 23, Duke Paukoa.
Paukoa 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the second when he went down swinging. Kick from Sharon. Goes breaking ball, and he gets Paukoa to swing over the top of it, 0-1. 2 home runs in this game already for Northwest Nazarene, who slugged .435 on the year as a team. Another breaking ball. Paukoa takes it for a strike. A couple of big looping curves that Sharon's offered him to start, and he's got Paukoa in an 0-2 count. Where Northwest Nazarene has really excelled is when they get on base, they love to steal bases. 0-2, and yet another curve. Paukoa swings over the top. He has struck out for the second time in this game. 3rd overall for Sharon, and we've got 2 away. 6-0 NNU lead here in the bottom of the 3rd. 2 outs and nobody on. Brian Rojas, the pitcher, is now the batter. He flew out to deep center field first time up. It's 403 feet to center, and he hit that one probably a good 395 or so, if not more. Came up just shy. And Rojas having a good ball game on the mound so far. 3 shutout innings, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, and 2 walks to start this one. 0-2 count now on Rojas as Sharon settling back in. Kick and the 0-2. Flown to left field. Moving to his right is Lead. He's into the corner. He's able to make the catch. And that's 3 straight retired by Sharon to get out of the inning. But 4 runs score on the power of 3 hits, including the 2-run homer of Trevor Tishinkle. And it is now a 6-0 Northwest Nazarene lead over Central Washington. So we're going to head to the top of the 4th inning here on GNAC TV. Northwest Nazarene posts 4 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning to make this a 6-0 game. NNU leading Central Washington. Brian Rojas got a ton of breathing room now as he faces the 3-4-5 hitters here in the top of the 4th. Begins with Austin Olin, who's in an 0-1 count, offering from Rojas. He goes cutter that will hit the top of the zone for a called strike, 0-2. Rojas yet to give up a run, 2 hits, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Rojas. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss as he records his 3rd strikeout of the ball game. Olin will go down swinging. We got 1 away here in the top of the 4th.
The The left fielder, number
Central
20,
Washington playing for their
Andy.
postseason lives right now. They are in need of a win. Otherwise, their season will come to an end. First pitch in. Little blooper back behind second base off the bat of Ben Lead, chasing it down. The shortstop, Callan, makes the catch on the fly for a quick second out. So Brian Rojas starting to find some solid efficiency with that pop out from Lead. He's only at 48 pitches through 3 2/3. If he gets a quick out here of Andrew Sharp, he's going to be looking at around 50 pitches through 4 innings. Pretty solid number. First pitch for Sharp, taken at the knees for a strike. The question will be, how long will Central Washington hang with Daniel Sharon before they want to go to the bullpen? He did have particularly rough third inning, and he has given up a run every inning so far. And the Wildcats are out of time. Yeah, they need to win this game, or that's it. That's the season. So I am assuming we are going to see some fairly short leashes for the pitching staff of the Wildcats. The count is 2-1 on Andrew Sharp after a miss down low. 2 outs and nobody on. 2-1 fouled back by Sharp to even his count at 2-2. Northwest Nazarene wearing their home white jerseys and pants for this one. Central Washington, as they did in Game 1 today, going with the maroon tops and the gray pants. 2-1 for Sharp, flown into left center field. Back on his horse is Walsh. Back to the wall. It's going to one hop off the left center field fence. Heading into second, standing up with a 2-out double is Andrew Sharp. Third hit of the game for Central Washington and their first extra base hit. Chipping away at this lead is something the Wildcats certainly have to do over an extended period of time here. Can't get it all back at once. So Sharp trying to get a little 2-out magic going for Central in the top of the fourth. Ryan McCarthy, the DH, to the plate. First pitch to McCarthy's going to miss for ball number 1. He grounded out to short in his first at bat, 0 for 1 in this game. 6-0, Northwest Nazarene leading. We are in the top of the fourth inning. 1-0 in there for a called strike, evens it at 1-1. Rojas trying to get out of another scoreless inning. 2 outs, man at second. 1-1 is in the dirt for ball number 2. Andrew Sharp at second after just having doubled off the left center field wall. Rojas working from a stretch. 2-1. Up and in, 3 balls and a strike. Waiting on deck is Jake Felton as the Wildcats look to extend this inning. With the loss to Western Oregon earlier today, Central Washington now 21-28 overall and 16-18 against GNAC teams this season. The 3-1 pitch, that's going to miss high. And McCarthy's aboard on a base on balls. So now it's consecutive 2-out reaches for the Wildcats. Sharp at second, McCarthy at first. Here's Jake Felton.
Center fielder number 22, Jake Felton.
Central Washington in search of their first GNAC title since 2014 and their lone postseason conference championship. Felton takes it on the inside edge for a called strike, 0-1. Central Washington just putting together back-to-back 20-win seasons. After collecting 22 wins last season, they've got 21 under their belt this year. 0-1, grounded towards second base. Ranging to his left is Brubaker. He'll throw to first. There in time, and there's another scoreless inning of work from Brian Rojas. No runs, a hit, and 2 left on in the top of the 4th inning. Northwest Nazarene maintaining a 6-0 lead as they will come to the plate in the bottom of the 4th when we come back on GNAC TV. Central Washington goes to their bullpen here in the bottom of the 4th inning as Daniel Sharon's afternoon is done. He goes 3+ innings, but after giving up leadoff base hits to Liam Herrera to begin the 4th and then Drew Deal a single to follow, he gets pulled from the game with 3+ innings of work under his belt in favor of Bo Kiersey. So Kiersey comes into the game here in the bottom of the 4th, 6-0. The Northwest Nazarene lead over Central Washington. Nobody out. Deal at first. Herrera now at third base. And Kiersey will be facing the top of the order with Carter Walsh, who takes one outside to even the count at 1-1. So the line right now for Sharon, 3+ innings, 6 runs on 6 hits. That could go up to as many as 8 as he's responsible for 2 base runners right now. 1-1 pitch misses, 2-1 now on Carter Walsh. Along with that, Sharon did walk 1 batter and struck out 3. He's going to be on the hook for the loss as of now, which would be his 5th of the season should it go to him. Kiersey, left-handed reliever. Try a pickoff move to first, but Deal steps back into the bag safely. Walsh has scored twice in this game already. His 2-1 pitch flown down the right field line. This one could be trouble, and it will be as it lands safely in fair territory. Heading for third on the play is Deal. He's going to pick up a couple extra bags. On the throw to third, Walsh is going to go to second, so he's got himself an RBI single. Advances on the throw. And it's now a 7-0 Northwest Nazarene lead. 3 straight hits for them to start the bottom of the 4th inning. And it's now 7-0. 1 run in the first, 1 in the second, 4 in the 3rd inning. And now 1 run here in the 4th. That brings up Gavin Brubaker. We're yet to see an out as the first pitch in for him flared into shallow left. That's a base hit. In to score is Deal. Coming as well as Walsh. Heading for second is Brubaker. He goes for the bag. Is able to slide around the tag. Has himself a double with 2 RBI. And Northwest Nazarene has blown this one wide open. 3 more runs here in the 4th. Make it a 9-0 Nighthawks advantage.
The shortstop, number 4, Cole Calnan.
That's going to bring up Cole Calnan. We have seen 4 consecutive hits to start this inning. Calnan, 2 RBI double back in the 3rd, is 1 for 2 in the game. Nobody out. Brubaker standing on second base. There's a swing and a miss to make the count 1-1 on Calnan. So with those 2 runners coming in, that's going to wrap up the line for Sharon. His final line, 3+ innings, 8 runs on 6 hits. As now with Brubaker at second, it's all Kiersey from here on out. 1-1 pitch in for a called strike. Makes it 1-2. One-two pitch, chopper, back up the middle, over the head of Kiersey and into center field. Brubaker is going to be waved around. He is in to score. And the damage just keeps on coming for Northwest Nazarene's offense. That's an RBI single for Calnan. 5th straight hit to start the inning. Now 4 runs in the frame. And it's now a double-digit advantage. 10-0 Nighthawks on top. 2nd hit and 3rd RBI of the day for Calnan. So Kiersey struggling to find a little bit of consistency here through his first 3 batters of relief. We're still in the bottom of the 4th inning. Nobody out. Runner at first is Cole Calnan, the shortstop. Inning started with a Liam Herrera single. Deal singled behind him. Walsh singled, then Brubaker a double, and then Cole Calnan an RBI single just a moment ago. We've seen 4 runs score, 5 consecutive hits to start the inning, and yet to have an out. 1-1 swing and a miss for strike number 2. This is Trevor Tishankle. One-two offering. This is outside. Evens the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tishankle with a towering 2-run home run to right field in the 3rd inning, which was a 4-run frame as well. 2-2 pitch. In there for called strike number 3 is Tishankle's going to get rung up. And Kiersey gets his first strikeout. We got 1 away here in the bottom of the 4th.
The left fielder, number 17, Adam Paganelli.
Adam Paganelli steps up. Takes a pitch outside for ball number 1. Paganelli 1 for 2. Singled and scored in the 2nd. It's now been 10 hits for 10 runs for NNU. Paganelli flares this into shallow center field. In on the run. Not able to get there is Felton. That'll fall in for another base hit. That is the 6th hit of the inning. We're going to see our 8th batter of the frame coming up in Duke Paukoa. Callan advances out to second base on the knock. 2nd hit of the day for Paganelli. So the Nighthawks threatening to bat around here in the 4th. First pitch in for Paukoa. Flown deep to left field, back towards the wall is lead, and that one's going to get out of here. It's a 3-run home run for Duke Paukoa. And that makes it a 13-0 Northwest Nazarene lead. Four runs scored in the 3rd. This is now a 7-run 4th inning for Paukoa. The home run, his 9th of the season, and Bo Kiersey is going to get a visit on the mound, and it looks like that's going to be the day. We're going to step aside as we'll see our 3rd pitcher of the inning. It's been a 7-run frame so far for Northwest Nazarene. They lead 13-0 here on GNAC TV.
Brian Rojas.
7 runs across the plate so far in the bottom of the 4th inning. 13-0 Northwest Nazarene's lead over Central Washington as the Wildcats bring in their third. NNU able to score 4 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. They've tagged on another 7 here in the 4th. We just saw the 3-run home run of Duke Pahukoa mark the exit for Kiersey. It's the first home run of the inning, but it is the 7th overall hit, and Brian Rojas now at the plate is the 9th batter of the frame. 1 out, and the base is empty. Rojas finds himself in a 2-2 count. Kick from Milliman and a 2-2 lined foul down the left field line. Remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nolan Milliman, a right-hander, comes in with a 5-2 record and a 2.95 earned run average on the season. This is the 15th appearance on the year for Milliman. All in relief. 2-2. Gets a cut and a miss from Rojas for a strikeout. And the second out of the inning. 2 away. Bring up Liam Herrera for the second time in the inning. The new Wildcats pitcher, Milliman, makes his home in Yorba Linda, California. Junior this season with Central Washington. 6'3". They got him listed at 225 pounds. Saw Western Oregon on a couple of occasions earlier this season, back in the beginning of April, but hasn't seen NNU since March 30th when he threw 2 perfect innings of relief against the Nighthawks. That has been the lone time he has seen NNU this season. Kicking a 1-1 from Milliman. Herrera puts it through the 5-hole for another single. He is now 3 for 3. And that will continue the 4th inning.
Catcher number 2.
So Liam Herrera having quite the day. Great start to his GNAC championships, as he's got 3 singles to his name. Here is Drew Deal, who swings through a first pitch breaking ball for strike number 1. So with this productive 4th inning, Northwest Nazarene is down to just 1 player who doesn't have a hit, and that's Brian Rojas, their pitcher, who's hitting in the 7-hole, but he's getting it done on the bump, so I think they'll forgive him. 0-1 is grounded to short. Long, difficult throw over by Jake Madsen's going to be there in time for an impressive out. But it takes 11 batters for Central Washington to finally get through the 4th inning. For NNU, 7-run score. That comes on the power of 8 hits. There were no errors and 1 left on base with another huge inning. It is now 13-0 Nighthawks leading the Wildcats. We're heading to the top of the 5th here on GNAC TV. It was a 7-run bottom of the 4th inning for Northwest Nazarene's offense. They have blown their lead open to 13-0 as we head into the top of the 5th. And Brian Rojas continuing to deal in the start for the Nighthawks as his 1-0 pitch in for Brady Hinkle, grounded to short. Throw over to first, going to be off the bag as Cole Calnan does not get a clean throw over in time. So we'll see how that one's scored. If thinking that's going to be a throwing error to put Hinkle aboard, but we shall see. Regardless, we got the leadoff man on, and Jake Madsen coming up with 1 on and nobody out here in the top of 5. You know, it's hard to say what the highlight of this game's been so far for Northwest Nazarene. Has it been 4 shutout innings from Rojas? Or has it been 13 runs on 13 hits? You know, I tend to lean that way, but both very impressive to start. And it looks like we're going to be getting an adjustment here. Oh. So it looks like that was, in fact, not Brady Hinkle that was at the plate. That was supposed to be Brady Hinkle that was just up, and that was Jake Madsen. Okay, so I didn't even catch it until it was already done. It was supposed to be Brady Hinkle leading off the inning in the 8-hole, but it was the 9-hole hitting Jake Madsen that just came up and had that infield hit. So Hinkle will be called out for batting out of order. And I think we're going to see Madsen come back to the plate. The umpires gathering together down the first base line to figure out exactly what the protocol is here. But not something you see too often. And I'm not sure how they got that one wrong, because looking back to the 4th, there were 2 runners on, and then Jake Felton just grounded out to second base. So we should have had Hinkle coming up, but some miscommunication there. So Hinkle will be called out without ever having come to the plate in the 5th for batting out of order. And then Jake Madsen, a shortstop, will come up for a second time. 1 out and nobody on. Rojas deals to him. Flown into right field. Backing up is Trevor Tishankle. He is back on the warning track. Leans back. Can't make the catch. It falls in for a base hit. Madsen into second. He's got himself a 1-out double on his second at-bat of the inning. What an interesting couple of innings it has been. We've seen defense, we have seen offense, and now we've seen a little bit of an issue with the batting order for Central Washington.
Number 2, Marcus Manzardo.
Back to the top of the order, here's Marcus Manzardo. His first pitch in will be taken for a strike. He's 1 for 1 in the game, walked and singled. Manzardo, left-handed hitting second baseman. Your GNAC newcomer of the year. Takes it low and inside, even the count of 1-1. Manzardo, a junior this season, but hitting .342 in his first year in the GNAC. And a big impact for this Wildcat offense. Takes an off-speed offering that just misses outside, 2-1. And it's actually been a big week for the Manzardo family, with Marcus being named Conference Newcomer of the Year just a few days ago. His brother Kyle just made his Major League debut back on the 6th. Kyle got called up for the Cleveland Guardians and made his debut against the Detroit Tigers on May 6th. So quite the week for Manzardo family baseball. And big congratulations to Kyle for making it up with the Guardians. 3-1 on the ground to second base. Snagged there by Brubaker. He'll throw to first in time to retire Manzardo. Madsen advances to third on the play, so now 2 outs and a runner at third, bringing up Baba Varner. Varner 1 for 2 with a single in this game. 13-0 our score. Northwest Nazarene leading Central Washington here in the top of the 5th. First pitch for Varner misses inside for ball number 1. Varner was named first team all-conference this year. Having a huge offensive season. He's 1-0, flown into shallow left. Few steps in for Paganelli. He's able to camp underneath, make the catch, and that'll end another scoreless inning. 5 shutouts so far for Brian Rojas. 13-0, Northwest Nazarene leads through 4.5 here on GNAC TV. Bottom of the 5th inning and a comfortable 13-run lead for Northwest Nazarene. They lead 13-0 over Central Washington University. It's going to be Nolan Milliman back out for another inning of relief for Central Washington. He's facing the top of the NNU order. That begins with Carter Walsh. Puts an 0-1 on the ground as short. Knocked around by Madsen, and it's going to be a safe reach for Walsh. So he is aboard for the 4th time in this game, to be determined if that's going to be via hit or air. Going to be a tough play on a backhand for the shortstop, Madsen. So we'll see how it's scored. That's going to bring up Gavin Brubaker. NNU trying to continue a trend of 4 consecutive innings of scoring, including 11 runs scored over the last 2 innings. Runner takes off. Walsh heading for second. He's going to get in there safely as he's able to swipe a bag. And the pitch misses on Brubaker, putting him in a 1-0 count. Milliman taking a look at second as he works from a stretch. Brubaker flies it into left field. Lead moving back towards the warning track. On the warning track, he makes a catch. Tagging and heading for third is Walsh. He's going to be able to get in standing up. But Brubaker retired for the first out of the inning. So 1 away, and Cole Calnan stepping up. So it goes in the books as a fielding error on the shortstop, Madsen. So it's an E6 reach for Carter Walsh. So his line on the ball game sits at 2 for 3 with 3 runs scored, a home run, a walk, 2 RBI. It's been quite the offensive outpouring for the Nighthawks. First pitch in there for a called strike on Calnan. NNU able to bring 11 to the plate in the 4th inning. Part of that 7-run, 8-hit frame. Here's the 0-1. Grounded back up the middle, past the outstretched glove of Milliman and into center field for an RBI single. Walking in to score is Walsh, and indeed it is a 5th straight inning of scoring for the Nighthawks as they are now up 14-0.
12, Trevor Tishankle.
So here's Trevor Tishankle, 1 for 3 with a 2-run home run in the third. First pitch for him is going to miss. Air reach to start the inning, and then an RBI single has made this a 14-0 Northwest Nazarene lead. 1-0 offering. That'll be in for a called strike. Evens it up at 1-1. Trevor Tishankle enjoying his final year of collegiate baseball and really going out with a bang. He's had a big offensive year. Started his collegiate career at Cal Poly before transferring into Northwest Nazarene. As he is a California native, grew up in San Diego before heading up to San Luis Obispo to start his collegiate baseball career, and found his way to Nampa, Idaho. 3-1 the count on the left-handed hitting right fielder. Callan's at first after the RBI single, 1 out and 1 on for NNU. 3-1 pitch, popped up foul territory down the left field line, chasing it. Both the third baseman, Hinkle, and the shortstop, Madsen almost able to get there, but just past him, as that was a long run for both. And the count will run full as it's just a high and long fly ball for Tishankle. So a full count as Milliman works from a stretch. Payoff pitch, breaking ball misses outside, and it'll be a walk. First walk of the game for Tishankle. Overall, just the second for the NNU pitching staff. Callan will trot down to second base. So now 2 on with 1 out.
Left fielder number 17, Adam Paganelli.
Northwest Nazarene got things started quickly. Their first batter of the ballgame, Carter Walsh, with a solo home run, and they have not looked back since. Also getting homers from Tishankle and Pahukoa to make this a 14-0 lead. First pitch is in for a strike on Paganelli. One out and 2 base runners aboard. Millman trying to get out of the inning. Long fly ball on the 0-1 as Paganelli pulls it foul down the left field line. He got all of that one, just a bit too far out in front. A win here in this ballgame would be the 34th of the season for Northwest Nazarene, who came into today with a 33-12-1 record. 0-2, dribbler towards third. Bobbled there by Hinkle. He'll have to throw to first. Gets it there in time. So Paganelli will be retired. Callan advances to third. Tishankle out to second on the play. So now 2 runners in scoring position with 2 down. And it'll bring up Pahukoa as the 6th batter of the inning. Not often that you'll see the collegiate baseball tie, but in this case it was the only one that Northwest Nazarene has had this season. It was back on February 10th. They were down at Stanislaus State. It was a game that went to the 8th inning, tied 12-12, and it just got so late on getaway day for NNU that they had to abandon the rest of the game so that they would not miss their flights back to Nampa. So Stanislaus and NNU decided to put that one in the books as a tie. So there you have it, 33-12-1, the overall record of the Nighthawks this year. Pahukoa in an 0-1 count. Offering in from Milliman. Breaking ball lined it short. Reaching up for it. Madsen makes an athletic catch, and that will end a 1-run 5th inning for the NNU offense. 1 run does score on 1 hit. There was an error and 2 left on, but the lead continues to grow. 14-0 Northwest Nazarene on top as we head to the top of the 6th here on GNAC TV. 5 innings in the books here in Billings, and Northwest Nazarene making a statement in this one. 14-0 their lead over Central Washington. Wildcats trying to find a way to get something going here in the top of the 6th. They got their 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up. That's Austin Oland. That'll lead things off for Central. He is facing Brian Rojas, who's back for his 6th inning of work. Rojas, now 75 pitches into this ball game. He's not giving up a run. 4 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Olin gets a hold of the 2-0, drives it to left center field, falls in for a base hit. His second reach of the day and his first hit. So leadoff man aboard for Central Washington. Second time in the game that they've been able to manage that. So Olin having himself a pretty decent afternoon despite the score as of this moment. As going back to that first game, he had 5 plate appearances in game number 1, reached 4 times, and he's reached in 2 of 3 plate appearances in this one. So his on-base percentage going through the roof today. 1 for 2 in the game with a single, add on a walk. In the first game, he was 1 for 2 with a solo home run, 2 walks, and a hit by pitch. Just getting on base no matter what, it would seem. Here's Ben Lead. 1-0 for him. Driven towards left center field where they left him a large gap. That's going to roll to the wall, and Lead is going to turn around second. He's thinking 3. He's trying for a triple. In to score is Olin. The throw to third is not in time, as it is an RBI triple for Ben Lead, and Central Washington is on the board. As a result of the play, third baseman Duke Pahukoa looks to be a little bit shaken up as he and Lead made contact as Lead went sliding into third. So Pahukoa, hobbling, ends up taking a knee in front of his own dugout. I think he's going to be all right, but certainly something gave him pause over there at third. And yeah, he had a quick conversation with the training staff, and he's going to get right back to it. So it's an RBI triple for Ben Lead to get the Wildcats on the board. 14-1 our score. For Lead, that's his 3rd triple of the season. Ties him for a team high in 3 baggers.
Now at the plate, first baseman number 15, Andrew Sharp.
And Andrew Sharp will come up. That's the first extra base hit of the GNAC tournament for Ben Lead. Kick and a little check swing by Sharp. Dribbler down the third baseline. Pahukoa is going to have to go to first. He's going to get it there in time. But in to score on the play is Lead. So it'll be a 5-3 put away of Andrew Sharp, but another run comes in. So it's now a 2-run inning for Central Washington. Their deficit now at 12. 14-2 our score. 2 outs and the base is empty here in the top of the 6th. Ryan McCarthy now the batter. McCarthy 0 for 1 with a walk. He'll take first pitch up and in for ball number 1. Brian Rojas deals 1-0. Gets a swing over the top from McCarthy to even the count of 1-1. So we'll have to keep an eye on Duke Pahukoa throughout the rest of the afternoon, see if that ankle is going to give him any more trouble. Looked like it was the right ankle, maybe the left. He was hobbling a little bit before he went down. It was tough to see which foot was the one that was hurting him. I believe it was the right ankle, though. That's the one he keeps wiggling out down at third base. 2-1 pitch, grounded towards short, backhanded there by Kalnin, and it looks like it dribbles out the bottom of his glove, and it's going to be an infield base hit for Ryan McCarthy. So 3rd hit of the inning for Central Washington. They got a man on with 1 out.
Jake Felton.
Brings up Jake Felton. 14-2 our score. First pitch in for Felton. There for a strike. So far in this game, Felton, the center fielder, 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out to second base. 0-1 pitch, takes it at the knees for called strike number 2. Central Washington trying to find a way to get this game back within some semblance of striking distance. Came into this inning down 14-0. They put 2 on the board. They need to have some big innings in the back half of this ball game. 1-2 pitch. Felton. Breaking ball. Lined into left field for a base knock. So it's a never say die attitude for the Wildcats. They're putting together quite a nice little 6th inning here. That's the 4th hit. McCarthy advances to second. Felton now at first. 2 on, 1 out. And it'll be Brady Hinkle. It was an odd setup in the 5th inning, as Hinkle was supposed to lead off the 5th, but instead, the man who hits behind him, Jake Madsen, came to the plate, so Hinkle was put out on batting out of order. As now we will see a mound conference for Brian Rojas as he finally begins to show a couple dents in the armor. So Hinkle, while theoretically had an at-bat in the 5th, this is the first time he's coming to the plate since the 2nd inning. Two runs already in. Hinkle's got Felton at first, McCarthy at second, and 1 down. We are in the top of the 6th inning in Game 2 of the 2024 GNAC Baseball Championships. 14-2 our score. Northwest Nazarene leading Central Washington. First pitch fouled back by Hinkle. So 0-1 the count to the Wildcat third baseman. In game number 1 of our day, Western Oregon defeated Central Washington by a score of 9-5. So for the Wolves, that guaranteed them a spot on Saturday. For Central Washington, they need a win here in this one. And they've put themselves in quite the predicament by allowing 14 runs to score for NNU over the first 5 innings. 0-2 count now on Hinkle. 2 pitch, bounces in front of home, blocked by Drew Deal, the catcher. So McCarthy has to hang at second and Felton at first. Rojas working from a stretch, trying to find his way through the 6th inning. Fastball in there for called strike number 3 on Brady Hinkle. And that'll be the 4th strikeout for Brian Rojas. Make it 2 away here in the top of the 6th.
The shortstop, number 14, Jake Madsen.
9-hole hitter Jake Madsen is up. He is the 7th batter of the inning for Central Washington, who's had their most productive offensive inning here in the top of the 6th. Leadoff single from Austin Olin. That was followed by the RBI triple of Ben Lead. Then singles later in the inning from McCarthy and Felton. So Jake Madsen now the batter in an 0-1 count after he swings through his first pitch. Breaking ball, he takes on the inside edge for a called strike, 0-2. Two outs, 2 on and an 0-2 count. Madsen fouls it away to stay alive. No balls, 2 strikes. Wildcats got off to an interesting start. They had the bases loaded with nobody out in the first inning, but were not able to capitalize. And it takes them until here in the top of 6 to score their first runs of the ball game. They were able to sneak in to the GNAC championships ahead of MSUB and St. Martin's. 1-2, grounder to short. Throw off to second by Callan is going to get away from the second baseman, Brubaker. That's going to allow a run to come in to score, as McCarthy will come in all the way from second on that play. Over to third is Felton. And Madsen gets himself on a fielder's choice, and then it's going to be an E6 throwing error that allows all that to happen. So another defensive mistake from Northwest Nazarene, who this season has been the best defensive team in the GNAC and one of the best in the country with a .974 fielding percentage, but has struggled to close out some fairly routine plays here like that one. So it's now a 3-run inning, 14-3 our score. Wildcats not done yet. They've got runners on the corners. It's Felton at third, Madsen at first, and 2 outs here in the inning. Back to the top of the order with Marcus Manzardo. 1-0 pitch for Manzardo, misses inside, 2-0. Could the Wildcats have a late run in them? Manzardo has reached twice in the game. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. 2-0 pitch. Flown foul down the left field line and out of play. No one going to be able to get to that one, so the count runs 2-1. Manzardo, the left-handed hitting second baseman, awaiting the offering from Rojas. Fastball on the way. 1 hopper out to second. Brubaker has it. His throw to first will be there in time. And that will roll up an 8 at-bat inning for Central Washington. They managed 3 runs in the inning on the power of 4 hits. There was an error and 2 left on. So a little bit of it back for Central Washington, but they're going to have to find some defensive stops, and they're going to have to keep rolling with the offense. 14-3 the score. Northwest Nazarene leads. We're heading to the bottom of the 6th here on GNAC TV. Central Washington able to tack 3 runs on the board in the top of the 6th inning. They get some help from an RBI triple from Ben Lee, singles from Oland and McCarthy, as well as Felton, to make this a 14-3 score. Northwest Nazarene still soundly in control of this one, but a multi-run inning, just what the doctor ordered for the Wildcats as they try and create some momentum. They also turn to left-handed reliever Reed Rasmussen here in the bottom of the 6th as he replaces Nolan Milliman. Milliman is able to give an inning and 2/3 of relief for Central Washington. Gives up a run on 2 hits, a walk, and a strikeout. Rasmussen seeing the bottom third of the NNU order here in the 6th. Begins with Brian Rojas, currently sits in a 2-1 count. Offering, breaking ball, misses outside, 3-1. Rasmussen on the season, 2-2 record and a 7.40 ERA. He is making his 12th appearance of the year, and it's the 7th time he has come out of the pen. He had 7 starts earlier in the season. Redshirt junior, standing 6'3", and facing NNU for the 2nd time this year. Threw an inning against him back on March 30th. Gave up 4 runs. Only 2 were earned on 2 hits. Walking 2, did not record a strikeout. 3-2 pitch in the dirt, and Rojas will lead off the inning with a base on balls. So the number 5 team in the West region, Northwest Nazarene, trying to add on to what is currently an 11-run advantage. Line score of this game, Central Washington 3 runs on 7 hits, 3 errors. NNU 14 runs, 14 hits, and 2 errors. That runs low and inside. Here's Liam Herrera, who takes it for a ball, 1-0. And what an under-the-radar game Liam Herrera has been having. 3 for 3 so far with an RBI and a run score, and it's just been a bunch of real nonchalant singles as he puts a 1-0 on a 1-hop out to short. Madsen goes to second for 1. Manzardo back to first in time for a 6-4-3 double play. So that'll take care of the leadoff walk for Reed Rasmussen. Just like that, 2 outs and nobody on. And the Wildcats are an out away from having their first scoreless inning of work on the defensive side. Drew Deal will come up as he tries to say something about that. Deal is 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. First pitch, Deal takes inside 1-0. We do have one more game to follow, as it'll be number 2 seeded Western Oregon versus number 1 seeded Northwest Nazarene. Anticipated 7 p.m. first pitch for that one. There's a called strike on Deal. Evens his count of 1-1. And that'll be the final game of the day. If this score holds as is between NNU and Central, that final game between the Nighthawks and the Wolves would be deciding who will have the advantage and only need to win one of 2 tomorrow to claim a GNAC championship. Someone will be going in with a very distinct advantage, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the 1 seed. The 1 seed gives you the advantage coming into the championships, but whoever can win 2 here today will be the one that goes into Saturday really sitting in the driver's seat. 2-2 misses high and away on Drew Deal. Full count. Deal trying to keep the inning going. 2 outs, nobody on. A full count. Reed Rasmussen. Payoff pitch coming home. Misses inside. Actually going to say it hit him. So not even a walk, but a hit by pitch will put Deal aboard, and that gets us back to the top of the order with Carter Walsh. Carter Walsh has had 4 plate appearances. He has scored 4 runs, responsible for 4 of these 14 NNU runs. So what a day for him. 2 for 3 with a home run, a single, an air reach, and a walk. 4 runs scored, 2 RBI, and a stolen base. First pitch, Walsh gets out in front of an off-speed offering, and that puts him down in an 0-1 count. Walsh led off this game with a solo home run for the Nighthawks. One of 3 homers that NNU has hit. 1-0 offering. Misses upstairs, 2-0. And Northwest Nazarene really has had a good time of it this year against Central Washington. 6-2 against them over the course of 2 4-game series. Rasmussen taking a look at first. His 2-0. Fouled off by Walsh. Makes it 2-1. Now, conversely, when Northwest Nazarene facing Western Oregon, they're just 3-5 on the year. So even though the Wolves, the lower seed, they have won a majority of the games this year against NNU, the 1 seed. Interesting to see how that works out. 2-1, runner takes off as that is fouled off down the third baseline by Walsh. So Deal will have to head back to first. He was looking to pick up what would have been his 8th steal of the season if he could have connected on that. He's 7 for 8 on attempts this year. And this NNU team, they steal more bases than anyone in the GNAC, and it's not even close. Coming into today, 97 stolen bases for NNU, 54 more than any other team in the GNAC. 2-2 misses low and inside. Now full count on Carter Walsh. Walsh awaiting the 3-2 in from Rasmussen. Runner goes. Pitch misses outside. It has been a tough seventh trying to find the strike zone for Rasmussen. He has walked 2 now. He has hit another. 2 on and 2 out. That's going to bring up Gavin Brubaker. He did get the benefit of a 6-4-3 double play to help him get out of some early trouble in the inning, but he's just not been able to close the door. Kick and a look back to second by Rasmussen. He'll walk Drew Deal back into the bag. So it's Walsh at first, Deal at second. 14-3 the score. Northwest Nazarene leads. We are in the bottom of the 6th. Offering in. Called strike on Gavin Brubaker. You look up and down this inning, you line up, and, well, with 14 runs on 14 hits in, it's easy to find a lot of really solid days offensively. 0-1 misses high on Brubaker, evens the count at 1-1. Eleven-run lead right now for Northwest Nazarene. 1-1 pitch. Brubaker fouls it away, 1-2. Rasmussen, 1-2. Fouled up and out of play off the end of the bat of Brubaker. He'll stay alive. This inning started with the walk of Brian Rojas, which has continued the trend. It's happened in every inning so far in this game. 6 innings at the plate for NNU, and 6 times their leadoff man has been on. Not necessarily a hit every time, but a board nonetheless. Another 1-2. Brubaker takes it high and away to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Just about 2 hours deep in this ball game, and for those of you that stuck with us the whole way, we appreciate you coming along through the technical difficulties and some big offensive innings as Brubaker is going to get hit on the 2-2. Second batter hit in this inning, and it's also going to load the bases for the Nighthawks. That might be the day for Rasmussen, and indeed it will be, as Desi Story is going to go to the bullpen. So we will take the opportunity to step away. Still here in the bottom of the 6th, bases loaded, 2 outs, and it'll be Cole Calnan coming up. We'll step away as Central Washington bringing in their 5th pitcher of the ball game here on GNAC TV. 14-3 our score here in the bottom of the sixth inning. Northwest Nazarene leading Central Washington in Game 2 of the 2024 GNAC Baseball Championships. Thanks for coming along with us. Just saw Drew Richardson put into the game in favor of Reed Rasmussen for the Central Washington defense. Bases loaded and 2 outs, an 0-1 count to Cole Kalman, who flies it into shallow right field. It's caught by Varner, and that will end the inning. So Drew Richardson just has to throw 2 pitches before they get out of the frame. And it is indeed a scoreless one. No runs, no hits, no errors, but the bases left loaded for Northwest Nazarene. That's the first time in this game that they have not scored an inning. We're heading to the top of the 7th, NNU 14, Central Washington 3 here on GNAC TV. Fourteen to 3 our score going into the top of the 7th inning. Northwest Nazarene leads Central Washington by a healthy margin. It's Nick Bateman in relief for the Nighthawks. He replaces Brian Rojas, who went 6 innings in the start, giving up 3 runs on 7 hits, walking 3 and striking out 4. As he is well in position for the win. Finishes with 100 pitches on the button in this game. So Rojas looking to pick up his 4th win. That would move him to 4-0 on the year if he's able to hold on to the W. Bateman, right-handed reliever, will miss outside on the leadoff hitting Baba Varner. Leads us off here in the 7th. Now a 3-1 count for the right fielder. Bateman comes into this ballgame 0-1 record at 2.70 ERA. 3-1 pitch is laced into left center field. There's a leadoff single for Varner. His 2nd hit of the ball game, and the Wildcats have another man aboard. Their bats have been coming alive quite a bit this last trip through the order. They were able to pick up 3 runs in the 6th on the power of 4 hits, including a triple from Ben Lead, who waits on deck right now. Austin Olin, the man at the plate, who is 1 for 2 with a single, a run, and a walk. Bateman working from a stretch. Just making his 4th appearance of this season. A 1-0 offering for Olin, driven deep to left field. Back on it is Paganelli, and that is gone. A 2-run home run for Austin Olin, his 2nd homer of the day. He had one against Western Oregon earlier this afternoon. And so now it's 5 unanswered runs for Central Washington. They're creeping their way back in, but still trail by 9. It's 14-5 our score now.
Number 20, Ben Lead.
With that home run, Austin Oland now with 8 homers on the season. He has had a big GNAC championship so far. Really good couple of games at the plate. Ben Lead now the man up. It's been a single and a 2-run home run so far for the Wildcats. 14-5 our score. First home run of the game for Central Washington to go along with their 9-hit, 5-run performance. 2-0 is grounded hard to third base off the bat of Lead. He is thrown out by Pahukoa. 5-3 put away makes it 1 down here in the top of 7. So plenty of breathing room here for the Nighthawks. They lead by 9 at 14-5.
First baseman number 15, Andrew Sharp.
They were up 14-0 after 5 innings, but 3 runs for the Wildcats in the 6th, 2 more in the 7th. Has brought the deficit back within single digits for him. Andrew Sharp is the batter. 1 for 3 with a double for the left-handed hitting first baseman. Offering high and away makes it a 2-0 count. Kick from Bateman. That one fouled back to the screen. A 1-2 they count, not 2-1 in fact. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the offering from Bateman, fouled off. Remains 1-2. Heart of the Wildcat order here. Sharp hits in the 5 spot. And the top half of this lineup has really gotten it done here today. Just have not had the defensive stops behind them that they've needed. Another 1-2 try from Bateman. Laced into center field. There's another base hit for the Wildcats. Second one of the day for Sharp. He'll hold up at first with a 1-out single. So hits for 3 of the first 4 batters that Nick Bateman has faced. He's having a little trouble finding outs. Bateman. Seen limited time this year for NNU, as we've talked about. That's going to bring Ryan McCarthy to the plate, who watches a first pitch in for a called strike. Oh, 1. Flown into right center field. Playable for Walsh, who will get underneath and make the catch for the out. Ryan McCarthy visibly upset with himself as he slams the bat down on that one. Thought he had a good pitch there and just couldn't get a hold of it like he wanted to.
The center fielder number 22.
So he'll
Jake
take a seat,
Felton.
and Jake Felton will come up with 2 outs and a base runner at first after the single of Andrew Sharp. First pitch, lined back up the middle, in for another base hit. Jake Felton's got his second hit of the ball game. That'll advance Sharp up to second. 4th hit of the inning for Central Washington.
The third baseman number 3.
So they're finding a little bit of offensive momentum, but is it too little too late at this point as they trail by 9? And it looks like Northwest Nazarene does not want to find out if Nick Bateman can close out the inning. They're going to be going to the pen. So it's just 2/3 of a frame for Bateman, and he's going to come out. So we'll step aside for the pitching change. We've got 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. Our score, 14-5. Central Washington has scored 5 unanswered. So they look to continue a late run here on GNAC TV. Northwest Nazarene goes to their bullpen here in the top of the 7th, and they pull out Jackson Henderson to replace Nick Bateman. 14-5 our score. Northwest Nazarene leads Central Washington in the second game of the 2024 GNAC Baseball Championships. Offering from Jackson Henderson into Brady Hinkle is fouled down the third baseline to make it an 0-2 count. He inherits a 2-out, 2-base runner situation as Jake Felton is at first base, Andrew Sharp at second for Central Washington. They've already scored 2 runs here in the top of the 7th, and they're looking for more. Hinkle in an 0-2 count. Henderson will miss outside, and the count runs 1-2. Henderson replaces Nick Bateman, who went 2/3 of an inning, giving up 2 runs on 4 hits, but he's on the hook for 2 more runs. No walks, no strikeouts for him. 1-2 misses inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes now on Brady Hinkle, the third baseman. He's hitless today, 0 for 3 with a strikeout, and was also called out for batting out of order. Here's a kick in the 2-2. Flown into shallow right. Tishankle moving in on it. Camps underneath, makes a catch, and that will end a 2-run inning for Central Washington. They scored 2 on the power of 4 hits. No errors, 2 left on base. So they get it to 5 runs now, the total for the Wildcats, but they trail by 9. 14-5 our score as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning here in Billings on GNAC TV.
Trevor Tishankle.
We're into the bottom of the 7th inning in a game that has been all Northwest Nazarene until these last 2 innings, and Central Washington finally finding their bats as they've scored the last 5 runs of this one. Nighthawks still lead 14-5 over the Wildcats, however, as we go to the bottom of 7. Trevor Tishankle leads off for NNU. He takes a first pitch for a called strike from Drew Richardson, who just had to face one batter in the 6th inning. He got Calnan to fly out to right field to get out of a bases-loaded jam. Tishankle 1 for 3 with a homer and a walk. Takes an 0-1 outside to even his count at 1 ball and 1 strike. We have seen quite the game offensively. A combined 25 hits for 19 runs, but that has come with 5 total errors between the 2 sides. 3 for Central Washington, 2 for Northwest Nazarene. So it hasn't been the prettiest game, but certainly a big offensive outpouring in this one. 2-1 pitch, Tishankle takes a hack at it, fouls it off the handle, and his count evens at 2-2. Northwest Nazarene went 23-9 in conference play this year, 33-12 as well as a tie in there overall. 2-2, flown into right field by Tishankle, settling underneath Varner. He's there to make the catch. Good contact from Tishankle, just happened to put it right at the right fielder. So we got 1 down here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Brings up Adam Paganelli.
The left fielder, number 17, Adam Paganelli.
And NNU, they put together a pretty tough schedule this year. They had early matchups against both Point Loma and Colorado Mesa. Now, when they faced Point Loma, they were just ranked in the 20s, but currently, Point Loma Nazarene, number 4 team in the nation at the D2 level. And Northwest Nazarene taking them on early in the season was able to split a 2-game set with them on February 2nd and 3rd. Then, later in February, they went out to Grand Junction, took 3 of 4 against Colorado Mesa, who's currently ranked 16th in Division II. 2-1 pitch in there for a called strike on Paganelli. His count runs 2-2. And in news, head coach Joe Schaefer earning his second GNAC Coach of the Year nod this season. So big congratulations to Coach Schaefer. Won it back in 2021 as well. So 2 of the 6 seasons he's been at NNU's managed to win Coach of the Year. 3-2 pitch. Paganelli puts it back up the middle, gets under the glove of pitcher Drew Richardson and into center field for a 1-out single. So hit number 3 today for Adam Paganelli. That's going to bring up Duke Pahukoa.
Third baseman, number 23, Duke Paukoa.
Pahukoa, 1 for 4, but it was a doozy of a one. He had a 3-run homer back in the 4th inning that ended up turning into a 7-run inning for the Nighthawks and really blew this one open. 14-5 our score. Nighthawks lead the Central Washington Wildcats as Central on the verge of elimination right now. Pahukoa takes a 1-0 and drives it back up the middle for a base hit. Slipping in center is Felton. That's going to allow an opportunity for Paganelli to turn and head for third. Otherwise, he was going to have to hold up at second base. So it's a single for Pahukoa, back-to-back 1-out singles.
The DH, number 34, Brian Rojas.
And here's Brian Rojas. Still looking for his first hit on the day. He's done on the mound, so he has moved from hitting in the 7th spot as a pitcher to just strictly the DH now, as Bateman and Henderson have both come in relief behind him. 0-1 breaking ball fouled away by Rojas. Brian Rojas went 6 innings in the start, allowed 3 runs on 7 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a solid afternoon for him. 0-2, chopper out to short, waiting back on it. Madsen has it. He'll step on second himself, throw to first. And it looks like they're going to call a balk instead. So a big turn of events there. Brian Rojas is able to come back to the plate. The whole double play played itself out, and then first base umpire Mark Hebe calling a balk on Drew Richardson. So the run comes in to score for Adam Paganelli. He scores on a balk. Pahukoa goes to second on the balk. And Brian Rojas, taking a hack at one, fouls it off on the left side. It remains, or it should be a 1-2 count on him. Still just 1 out in this inning. A run already in the frame on that balk just a moment ago. 15-5 now our score. Lead back to 10 runs for Northwest Nazarene. Kicking the offering from Richardson. Rojas drives it into right center. There's a base hit for him, his first today. Pahukoa will turn around third and come in to score. Trotting into second is Rojas with a stand-up double. And it's now a 2-run 7th for Northwest Nazarene. So they get it back out to an 11-run advantage. It is 16-5.
Now batting number 8, Caleb Karpstein.
Now, mind you, we are still far off of the season high for runs scored in a ball game. MSUB scored 25 in a game against MSU Denver back on February 23rd. In that same game, they had 28 hits And of those 25 runs, 22 were batted in. What a doozy that one was. So these 16 runs, not anywhere near the season high in runs scored. 0-1 chopper to second off the bat of Liam Herrera. The throw to first is going to be in time. And in fact, that was actually a pinch hitter for Herrera. It looks like that was Caleb Karpstein that hit for him. So Karpstein will be retired on a 4-3 for the second out of the inning. Advancing to third on the play is Brian Rojas.
Northwest Nazarene, number 16, Manny Casillas.
And we get another pinch hitter. This is Manny Casillas in to replace Drew Deal. It looks like Northwest Nazarene starting to think about game 2 of their day and giving a couple of guys a little bit more rest than they would have otherwise. So Drew Deal's done, having gone 1 for 3 with a single, a hit by pitch, and a run scored. Pitch in to Casillas, in for a called strike. 1-2 now the count on the pinch hitter. One-two, cut and a miss. Casillas goes down on strikes. First strikeout of the ballgame for Drew Richardson. He does give up 2 runs here in the 7th, however. That coming on the power of 3 hits. There was 1 left on. And NNU gets their lead back out to 11. 16-5, our score here on GNAC TV. Into the top of the 8th we go with Northwest Nazarene in the driver's seat. 16-5, their advantage over Central Washington. They bring Jackson Henderson back for the top of the 8th inning. As Henderson, third pitcher of this ball game for the Nighthawks. They got 6 innings out of Rojas, but Nick Bateman just able to go 2/3. For Henderson had to finish off the 7th. He just goes 1 batter. The offering for Jake Madsen on a fly to second base. Brubaker able to collect it there for the first out of the inning. Got 1 down here in the top of the 8th. Back to the top of the order with Marcus Manzardo.
Second baseman, number 2, Marcus.
Western Oregon has already picked up a win today. They topped Central Washington by a score of 9-5 in a game that started at noon. And we're just a little bit over halfway our slate of baseball here on this Friday evening. We still got Western Oregon versus Northwest Nazarene coming for an anticipated 7 p.m. first pitch. It's going to be right around there. It'll be roughly 30 minutes after the end of this game. So if this one goes past 6:30, we will have to bump it back just a little bit. It's really going to depend on the pacing of this 8th and 9th inning. 1-1 count on Manzardo. Gets a hold of an off-speed offering. It's sliced to short, where Calnan able to catch it on short little pop-up for the second out of the inning. That brings up Baba Varner as Jackson Henderson looks to make it 4 consecutive retired in his relief outing so far.
Varner Jr.
Baba Varner, the right fielder, 2 hits in the ball game, puts his first pitch on the ground to short. Calnan there. Throw to first. And there's a 1-2-3 inning. Henderson puts them down in order, and now Northwest Nazarene is just 3 defensive outs away from picking up a W here in the GNAC Championships. They'll have a chance at the play first. It's 16-5. Nighthawks lead. Bottom of the 8th is next here on GNAC TV.
First up.
Bottom of the 8th inning and a chance to extend the lead for Northwest Nazarene. Their lead 16-5 over Central Washington. As we just saw a 1-2-3 inning from Jackson Henderson in relief in the top of 8. That has drawn the NNU Nighthawks within 3 defensive outs from their first win in the GNAC Championships this year. Leading off here in the 8th is top of their lineup. Begins with what should have been Carter Walsh, but we've got a pinch hitter in for him, so Casey Wayne will take his spot. So we've seen a lot of pinch hitting here for Northwest Nazarene. And so we'll be seeing quite a few differences. Liam Herrera and Drew Deal saw their nights come to an end when they were pinch hit for in the bottom of 7. Now it's Carter Walsh whose day is done with Casey Wayne hitting for him in the 8th. 3-1 now the count on Wayne. He's a redshirt junior out of Phoenix, Arizona. Getting in some reps as he fouls the 3-1 off. His count now full. Be facing Logan Pierce on the mound for Central Washington. Pierce now the 6th pitcher the Wildcats have put on the this ballgame. Payoff pitch down the chute for called strike number 3 on Casey Wayne. And Logan Pierce starts his evening with a strikeout. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Well, save for 2 innings that really got out of hand, this was a fairly competitive baseball game, but the 3rd inning saw 4 runs scored for NNU, and then there were 7 runs in the 4th. But you take those out of the equation, and, well, we're even at 5-5. Throw over to first going to be in time as Gavin Brubaker quickly grounds out to 3rd for a quick 2nd out of the inning. So Logan Pierce trying to make quick work of the top of the NNU order. He'll now deal with Cole Calnan.
Next number 4, Cole Calnan.
Calnan, pretty solid game. 3 for 5. with a double, 4 RBI, 2 runs scored. Callan fouls off his first pitch, or strike number 1. "17 hits in this game for NNU, and 3 of them have belonged to their shortstop, Callan. 0-1 offering. Just misses below the zone. Good pitch in there from Logan Pierce, but won't catch. And the count runs 1-1. Logan Pierce making his 14th appearance of the season, and he's really right down the middle, split his time between the rotation and the bullpen. 7 starts, and now with this outing, 7 relief appearances on the year. He was 2-3 with a 5.37 earned run average this season. 1-2 pitch. Callan lays off and misses low and away. 2-2. (16-5) our score. NNU leading. 2-2 misses low and away, and the count now full for Callan. Two outs, nobody on here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch on the way. Fouled off. Callan stays alive. As we've talked about, Northwest Nazarene really, it would seem at least, the only team that has a mathematical shot at making the NCAA West Regionals without winning the GNAC championships. Another 3-2 coming in. Pierce puts it right at the knees for called strike 3. 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning of relief for Logan Pierce. We're heading to the top of the 9th, and it is do or die time for Central Washington. 16-5 our score. They'll have Oland, Lead, and Sharp due up as they are playing to try and keep their season going, but they're down by 11. Back for the 9th when we come back here on GNAC TV. Top of the 9th inning is upon us. 16-5 our score. Northwest Nazarene leading Central Washington University. NNU 3 outs away from locking up the victory and securing a spot in tomorrow's second and final day of the 2024 GNAC Championships. And it'll set up a very interesting Game 3 later tonight if they do cinch up this win. Austin Oland is leading off here in the top of the 9th for Central Washington. He gets himself into a 2-1 count as he swings through that one. He is facing Jackson Henderson on the bump, who's back for a 3rd inning of relief. He's gone an inning and a 3rd. He got on the hill at the end of the 7th, recorded it out there, threw a 1-2-3-8, and now here he is in the 9th. 2-2 count on Oland as he is facing him for the first time in this game. Henderson's 2-2 pitch. Grounder, sharp to 3rd, knocked down by Pahukoa. Throw to 1st is in time, and we have 1 away. Jackson Henderson has retired all 5 batters he has seen. He's been great out of the pen so far for the Nighthawks.
Left fielder number 20, Ben Lee.
That's going to bring up Ben Lead. 1 out, nobody on. Just 2 outs left to work with for Central Washington as they try and hang on. First pitch in for a called strike. They trail by 11, so pretty tall order here for the top of the 9th for them to try and keep their season alive. 0-1 check swing, and GNAC Player of the Year Ben Lee does come around. That'll be called strike number 2 on him. Unfortunately for the Wildcats, there is no path to the NCAA West Regional without a GNAC championship, as they entered into the tourney with a sub-500 record at 21-27. If they lose this one, they'd be dropping to 21-29 after losing earlier today. So it just wouldn't be possible to sneak in. 0-2 pitch for Ben Lee. High fly ball to left field. This one back. Paganelli gives up on it, and that one is way out of here. Ben Lee with a towering, monstrous solo home run in the top of the 9th. That'll get the Wildcats their 6th run of the ball game, 16-6 our score. How about this game for Ben Lee? 2 for 5. He's got a triple and a home run, so he's got the hard half of the cycle done.
First baseman number 15, Andrew Sharp.
And that's going to bring up Andrew Sharp. And Adam Paganelli in left field didn't really even move on that one. That one was so out of here that Paganelli just had no doubt about it. Andrew Sharp up with 1 out and nobody on. So the first batter aboard that Jackson Henderson allows is a big one. He had retired 5 straight before Ben Lee takes him deep to left. One offering. That'll miss for a ball. As Andrew Sharp finds himself in a 2-1 count. Kicking the 2-1. Line towards center field. Walsh has a read on it. And actually, he was replaced by Casey Wayne, who makes the play for out number 2. Hard hit ball from Andrew Sharp, but he is put away for the 2nd out of the inning.
DH number 25, Ryan McCarthy.
Two outs and nobody on. Chopper off the bat of Ryan McCarthy out to second base. This should put it away, and indeed it does, as that ground out will wrap up this game and give us a final score of 16-6. It is a resounding 10-run win for Northwest Nazarene here in the first game of their GNAC championships. Line score this one, 6 runs, 12 hits, and 3 errors for Central Washington. Northwest Nazarene put 16 runs up on 17 hits and 2 errors. So with that, Central Washington's GNAC championships are over. Northwest Nazarene will now take on Western Oregon at 7 p.m. Both those teams 1-0 on the day. Winner of tonight's game will decide who just has to win 1 game tomorrow and who will have the tougher road and will need to put up 2 dubs to claim the 2024 GNAC title. We're going to step away for about a half hour. If you want to join us again, we'll be back at around 7 o'clock for Western Oregon versus Northwest Nazarene. Plenty more baseball coming at you here from the 2024 GNAC Baseball Championships. Thanks for joining us here on GNAC TV.